Well, I want to thank our the newest Butler commit, Baron Walker from Noblesville, joining us here tonight. And Baron just committed here about, I don't even know, about an hour ago, maybe, Baron. But tell us, I guess, how this came about. You said it was a spectacular conversation with with Thad Matta on your Twitter, but just give us a little background on how all that came about.
I mean, just from starting from the beginning of the process, my dad and mom, they reiterated in my head, go somewhere that I want to be wanted. Throughout this process, um, they've really been on me. They've shown a lot of interest. I feel wanted to be there. Obviously, speaking with Coach Motti, all the things that he respects. They really caught my attention alongside Coach Barlow and Coach Diebler. They've been there. They've shown support since the beginning, and just feels like home. Obviously, it's not too far, but it just feels somewhere that I want to be. I feel I can really succeed there, and really try and help out whatever they're trying to build.
When did Butler kind of first get started with you, Baron? I know you had you'd kind of been setting up some official visits and getting things lined up for these next couple months, but obviously the offer from Butler changes that pretty clearly when you commit to them tonight. But what when did they kind of become like a serious factor for you?
I think for me, like I was in contact with them like after what would that been? The Forum Tip Off Classic in like December. Talked with them a little bit throughout the season, then going to that live period, then like through Charlie Hughes, they really like showed a lot more interest. I went down to campus before and visited, saw them practice. So um, going up, what would have been my second time yesterday. So it was just it was just great. Everything about it, nothing about it is really eye catching, and I don't need anything to really catch my eyes. I just need that feeling, and I think ultimately for me, I just felt again, like I've already said, it just feels like home. They want me. I want to go there, and I really can't see myself anywhere else.
Well, Barron averaged 15.7 points, 4 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 1.4 steals last year as a junior. Made the junior all-star team. Shooting percentages, 50% from the field, just a shade over 40 from the three-point line, and over an 80% free throw shooter. And really, Barron, this I guess just kind of the nature of recruiting anymore is you didn't get your first D1 offer until I believe it was May
Yeah.
from Indiana State. And I've been seeing you play for a while, and kind of surprised me, that you didn't get some earlier. But I think it's sort of the nature of recruiting these days. Just that's just how it's going to be. But how patient did you have to be with this process? Kind of knowing things happen a little bit later now.
Can you hear me, Kyle?
Yeah, I got you. Am I fading out on you?
Hold on. Let me leave and join right back because I cannot hear you. Let me
Okay.
leave and join right back.
And as I was saying with Barron, he's over 50% from over
Yeah.
50% from the field total, over 40% from three, and over 80% from the free throw line. So all the shooting percentages really solid across the board. Baron, I was asking, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I was asking, your first offer came in May, Division 1 offer from Indiana State. It's just kind of the nature of recruiting anymore. I think that things happen a little bit later. Were
Yeah.
you still pretty confident? Things were going to happen the way they were supposed to? What was the process kind of like for you, and just being patient?
I think, obviously, that portal, like it's crazy. So, it kind of downgrades, high school recruiting for a lot of kids. But I think for me, just sticking my head down, just grinding, just trusting the process. I give a lot of credit to both my parents, um, they helped me, gave me all the confidence I need, mentored me, helped lead me through the way. To where I am now, alongside my coaches, Coach Mack and Coach Dustin for AAU. Them kind of reaching out to coaches, kind of put me in that spotlight. But I think overall, just having to trust the process, trust the man above. He's got good things in store for me. Um, So yeah, I didn't really lose confidence. Obviously, there's little stages where you're like, am I going to get it? But as long as I take care and take advantage of my opportunity, I think that's ultimately what helped me stay confident.
And when you talk with Butler, Barron, how do they see you fitting in, or what do they see you kind of bringing to the table for the upcoming years?
I think ultimately, winning was said a lot. Um, you know, a lot of guys are winners, but I just feel like, um, going out there, doing my job, whatever that is, whether that's, going out there, guard the other team's best defender, or even having to go out there and score. Ultimately, that's what I would say as winning, just bringing a guard that can, help run the team and just succeed.
And who else, Barron? I know you kind of were setting these visits up. Who else were you pretty strongly considering at this point before the Butler offer came?
Before then, I was considering Indiana State, Wright State, and who would that have been? Gosh,
I know Belmont was one you were hoping to set up, right?
Belmont was one, and IU, Indy, Central Michigan, and Bellarmine. Those were Miami of Ohio, Miami of
Okay,
Ohio. Yeah, those were some of the schools that I had on my list.
okay. And with Butler, how much of a have you been to a lot of Butler games over in your life, or how you pretty familiar with Hinkle Fieldhouse?
I am familiar with it. I just don't think I've really taken in how like historic it really is and like the background and meaning of it. I think it you know, it's just amazing for the situation that I'm in. I'm very blessed, but it's surreal to really think about Hinkle Fieldhouse and that's where I'll be playing soon.
Back in the day, we used to have a media game on Tuesday afternoons at Hinkle Fieldhouse. We'd get in there and play noon ball games.
Yeah.
So that was before my knees are completely shot. But back in the day, that was a lot of fun. But
Oh, I
Barron,
bet.
Baron, how when you look at this upcoming season, obviously you guys for Noblesville, uh, got a good 1-2 scoring punch coming back. Obviously with you and Justin in the mix there, and then some other guys too who've played well for you, Adam Fine included. But what are your goals now for this upcoming season? What does this decision do to kind of let you focus on that now?
I think ultimately I just want to prove my leadership. That we have a lot of young guys this year who aren't necessarily as experienced. So, trying to help lead and guide them for the situation that, we're trying to get to. We've been right there, back to back sectionals, and, we've been in the sectionals for the past, since I've been a freshman, sectional championship. So, just trying to get right over that hump. And just going from there. Obviously, that sectional is brutal. But I just feel really confident. Just trying to just help lead my team and doing my part for us to win.
And tell me about your decision to use all these different words in your offers. Where'd that start from? Are you got the thesaurus out next to you for every time you get an offer?
See, I've had a lot of people ask me this, and people think I've AI'd it, but no, I haven't. I'll give a lot of that credit to my dad. He wanted to do something different that hadn't been seen, so he wanted to do his own thing, and it kind of created a little bit of buzz, which he was looking for. So that was his main idea and background of that.
All right. Well, credit Baron Walker's dad on that, because the first one you got, I was like, oh, that's interesting, and then it kept going. I was like, okay, I see he's doing a little something different here. So credit to you and your dad for that
Yeah.
idea. You stood out from the pack.
Yeah, he was just trying to do something just to separate myself, and I think he did a good job. I thought he was going to run out of words, but he did his thing and he did it.
Now with Butler, Baron, are you trying to help bring other guys in, or have you talked to coach about their plan for this class, 26 class?
I haven't talked much about you know obviously who else they're looking at. Obviously, I can try and do my part just to bring those guys and who they're really trying to dial down and bring it in. Um, but yeah, definitely, I think we can get some good guys in this class that can really help. separate ourselves from the rest of the conference.
Are you familiar with any of the guys? Like, do you play with Stink much or cross paths with them very much, or any of the other guys?
I The only time I would have crossed paths with him would have been that All-Star game. Um, I think me and him guarded each other for like a little stint. But obviously, I've heard a lot about him, and he's a really good player. Um, and then Evan Haywood. I have
Hmm.
a teammate from AAU that played with him, and then I had a buddy that went to Brebeuf and played with him, and he's really good as well.
Yeah, and then Bryson Cardinal probably too. You've seen a little
And
bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've talked with him fairly a lot recently. Obviously, just from like when I went on my visit, I've been comfortable with him even before then. Like we talked at we went to like a little AAU camp together. And obviously like when we played each other in the season, Noblesville was versus Garen. So he's really loved that kid. He's a good basketball player.
Well, don't want to keep you. I know you got school tomorrow, apparently. So it's still July. Why are you going to school? That's seems crazy to me.
Yeah, you might have to talk to the school board about that. I don't approve of us going in July, but it's the year-round schedule, so we'll still get 2 weeks for fall and spring.
There you go. And it's your last year, so hey, suck it
That's
up.
what I'm saying.
There you go. Well, congrats again, Baron Walker, the new Butler commit, Noblesville High School senior, and certainly deserving and happy for you, Baron, to get this opportunity. And good luck to you. I'm sure I'll see you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you again, Kyle.
You bet. We'll see you.
See ya.